This is the VTOMAN Jump 1500 DACE portable power station, and just by looking at it, you can tell it's pretty rugged and ready for serious work. It's a medium-sized unit, mostly black with some yellow trim accents, which actually makes it easy to spot if you're camping or working in low light. It has a sturdy handle on top and weighs just over 30 pounds, so you'll definitely feel the heft if you move it around a lot. But it's manageable for most situations where you need this kind of power. I'll get right to my experience. When I first unboxed this thing, my expectation was honestly mixed. Sometimes these portable power stations overpromise, especially when it comes to actual performance with high-drain home appliances. But after using it in scenarios ranging from a weekend camping trip to testing it for backup power during a brief home outage, it's safe to say it surprised me in good ways. So, key features. The headline here is the 1500 watt of continuous power output, which means you can run most home appliances and electronics. VTOMAN advertises a 3000 watt peak thanks to their VBeyond tech. The peak means it can briefly handle appliances that draw a burst of power when starting up. For example, an air fryer, microwave, or even a small heater. I actually pushed this by connecting both an air fryer and a small heater at the same time. Normally, doing that with a regular portable power station will trip some sort of safety shutdown. But here, the Jump 1500X kept both running with no reset. What I noticed was, it seemed to intelligently limit the power draw to stay under its max continuous output. If you're not familiar with this, it's actually a good thing because power surges are what tend to shut down lesser power stations. And it's a feature that could save you from having your food half-cooked or your heater turning off unexpectedly. Now, about the battery. It uses what's called a LiFePO4 battery, sometimes written as LFP. That's a lithium iron phosphate battery. Honestly, this is one thing that impressed me the most. LiFePO4 batteries are safer, much less likely to catch fire, and they tend to last way longer than traditional lithium-ion batteries. VTOMAN says this unit has over 3,000 charging cycles before the battery starts degrading noticeably, which for most people means years of steady use. If you're comparing this to cheaper power stations, that's a real plus. Another thing that stood out is the expandability. The base capacity is 828 watt-hours. If you're new to power stations, watt-hours is just a way to measure how much juice you have in the battery. It means you can run a 100-watt device for roughly 8 hours. Here's where it gets better. You can attach an extra battery pack and push the total up to 276 watt-hours. That's a lot, easily covering a weekend of camping or providing decent backup for a home outage. Charging options are solid. You get a regular wall charger, a car charger cable, and you can use solar panels if you have them, up to 200 watts. On my trip, I used the car input when I was driving and solar when parked, and both worked great. Plugging it into my car, I got about 75 watts charging while the engine was off, and a bit more when the engine was running. From empty to 80% with the AC charger took just about 4 hours, which is quick for this kind of power station. Ports and connections are plenty. There are 3 AC outlets, more than most competitors in this size. You also get 4 USB-A ports and 2 USB-C ports that actually support up to 100 watts of fast charging for laptops, tablets, and phones. There's also a regulated 12-volt car port plus 2 DC barrel connectors. If you're like me and always travel with more gear than you need, being able to charge everything at once is a serious win. At one point, I had 2 laptops, a phone, a tablet, and some drone batteries all running off the VTOMAN, with power left over for an electric cooler. A feature I didn't expect but ended up loving is the rear light bar. It's bright enough to use as a campsite light, and it has strobe and ASOS settings, just in case. Handy for night work, too. One question I had before buying was about jump-starting cars. VTOMAN says this can start almost any vehicle, but the jump-start cables don't come included. For me, that's a tiny annoyance. The feature is there, you just have to get the cable separately if vehicle support is a must. So speaking as someone who actually uses this stuff, here's why I'd recommend the VTOMAN Jump 1500X. It's perfect for camping trips when you've got multiple devices or need to run higher draw things like blenders or coffee makers. It's a good choice for RV or camper van setup, even if it is a bit heavier than some compact options. Most of all, it plays a solid role as a home backup power solution, especially if you can expand it with the extra battery. In my opinion, the build feels tough, the handle is big, and the plastic doesn't feel like it's going to crack with normal use. The display is clear, showing you exactly how much battery you have left, how much power you're drawing, and even how long it'll last at your current rate. If there are drawbacks, weight is one. At a little over 30 pounds, you won't want to hike it long distances. But honestly, if you're taking this camping, tailgating, or just setting it up at home, that's one trade-off for the higher output and battery safety. The other is the extra jumpstart cable issue I just mentioned. Also, one thing to watch out for: if you're trying to run very high-powered electronics, like heavy gaming computers or power tools above 1500 Wh, remember that it will throttle output for safety. Most regular laptops, TVs, drones, and smaller appliances will run just fine. From my experience, setup is a breeze. You plug it in to charge, hit a button to activate the ports you need, and that's about it. There's not much of a learning curve, and the included user manual is straightforward. The accessories are nice, with a case for the charger and car cable, and some stickers, which is a fun touch. Over several weeks, the Jump 1500X didn't let me down. No surprise shutdowns or system errors, and no funny noises, except for the cooling fan kicking on after a big draw. The fan's not super quiet, but it's no louder than your average laptop. In conclusion, I'd confidently recommend the VTOMAN Jump 1500X power station if you want a power backup you can trust, whether you're dealing with outages at home, heading out for some outdoor fun, or just want something solid for the road. The battery chemistry is safer and lasts longer. The output is high enough for almost anything you'd reasonably power, and with all the port options, it handles busy tech lives easily. For me, it's proven to be reliable, easy to use, and tough enough to handle anything I'd throw at it. If you found this quick review helpful, hit the subscribe button and drop your questions or experiences in the comments. Thank you for watching.